Good morning, everybody. I'm Lydia Garrett. I'm your worship associate for this morning. And with the ringing of the peace bell, we affirm our collective hope for the still all too elusive peace in this world. We acknowledge that these lands that we live on and like are the ancestral lands of the Yavapai people. Please enjoy listening to the wonderful music played by our pianist, Lena Huben. Thank you, Lena. And now I extend a hearty welcome to everyone, be it on Zoom or here in person in our temporary quarters, while our new sanctuary is getting closer and closer to again be our gathering place. So welcome to Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are happy to see you all, and I hope that all of you are in good health. And that is with very special wishes to our minister, Reverend Fritts, who is nurturing some after effects from a car crash he was in while he was back in Baltimore. That teaches you to leave us. So we're so glad to have him back here with us, even though he will be leaving us fairly soon. It's good to be together, isn't it? And it's great to see so many familiar faces and hopefully also some new ones. Welcome to you all. If any of you visitors are here for the first time, would you like to raise your hand and introduce yourself? Because Reverend Fritts has a special gift for you. So.
Wireless.
Okay. He's right there. Just a minute. Oh, do we have a our mic is sort of in the other corner. Didn't make it here in time. Didn't get the cue.
Hello.
In our work and ministry here at Granite Peak, we use the principles of our mission statement, which says, we are a compassionate spiritual community that celebrates diversity, nurtures the personal and spiritual growth of all ages, shares our gifts, promises justice for all, and serves the world we live in. This morning, we thank the many people who make this service possible and run pretty smoothly. Our pianist, Lena Huben, Martin on AV, and many, many Sunday morning volunteers from the greeters to our coffee crew. We couldn't do it without them. And now, please put your noisemakers on silent. So I'll try to remind you to turn them back on again at the end. You can learn about our activities and events of this congregation on our website at prescottuu.org. We also have a weekly online newsletter and a monthly newsletter online and printed companies, The View. The new edition is out there now. Sandra Palacios, our faith development coordinator, teaches our kids ages 5 and up in a building across the street. She uses her admirable creativity to share lessons to the multi-age class she ably directs, and she gave me the following. Faith development students, healthy summer snacks is their title. The students will be making healthy choices and learning about their nutritional value. Then they will make a fruit smoothie. Maybe we should go over there. So, there's another announcement I've been given. Please sign up after the service for the dish you will bring to the farewell potluck. Did you know we had a party? So, for Reverend Roger. So, up front to the right. And Empty Bowl needs volunteers. The date is this year is Sunday, September 14th. And Chris Hawthorne and Tracy Augustine will be here right after service to answer any questions, let you sign up for open positions. And that, of course, most of you know that is our big fundraiser for the food banks, which is held on the square downtown. And we raise a lot of money for that. So. We now begin our service in a Unitarian Universalist tradition of lighting the chalice. Our chalice lighter this morning is Jenny Jenkins. I got that? Okay. We light this chalice, a symbol of our heritage, in gratitude for this beloved community. You're on with words of gathering.
My colleague, Reverend Rebecca Ebenson Lang, who's minister in Houston for many years, wrote these words. Come into this place that we make happy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities, your strengths, your fears, your anxieties, your loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sacrificed, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place. I invite you to stand as you're able to do so and sing "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple," number 16 in our gray hymnal.
Susan.
I'm going to do the covenant. I invite you to join with me in the covenant printed in the order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant together.
As we prepare to take the offering this morning, let us embrace the feeling of connection and community that we have when we gather here each week. Let us remember that this congregation and its programs are supported by your generosity. We also give back through seeds of support to a local community organization each month. This month, it is the Yavapai Prescott Indian Nation Community Garden. You find more information about them on the back of your order of service. Half of the cash and the collection will go to them. If you have a check and you want it to go half-half or all the way one way, you need to mark it on the check. So we will enjoy the offertory music by Lena. We acknowledge the generosity of spirit expressed through these offerings. What is given in love is received with gratitude. At this time in a service, we like to recognize celebrations and concerns that we deal with. We have 2 bowls of water up here and a dish with rocks. If you wish, you can please come up and silently place a stone or more of your choosing into the bowl, which expresses your joy or your concern. Don't all come up at the same time? Let us all sing together, Spirit of Life. Now let us all listen to Reverend Rogers' message.
Well, this sermon has its origins in about 1976 when I was listening to the radio and I heard an interview of a professor at Northwestern University named Gary Wills about the origins of the Declaration of Independence. This was the 200th anniversary. And then Wills eventually wrote his book on the Declaration of Independence. And I found it fascinating. But I didn't preach on it until I went to Scotland in 2007, and I began to read books about the Scottish Enlightenment and get a sense of what that was all about. And I realized our country was founded on the principles of these folks in Scotland who were funded mostly by tobacco from Virginia. So here we go. Tobacco from Virginia. Friday of this week, we'll celebrate Independence Day, the anniversary of the formal Declaration of Independence of the American colonies from Great Britain. In Washington, D.C. on Friday, the National Symphony Orchestra will play an outdoor concert in front of the Capitol building. Around 9 p.m., they'll play Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. And as the overture ends, the military will fire real cannons. They'll fire blanks on the lawn near the Capitol. There'll be about 700,000 people who will watch fireworks explode near the Washington Monument, assuming it's not raining heavily. It often rains that time of year. The sky will light up with bright explosions and color and light. It will all be broadcast on national television, but many people will not be watching television. They will be outside watching their own fireworks, the displays in large and small towns across America, while we eat hamburgers, hot dogs, and potato chips, and drink sodas or beer. Here in Prescott at 9 p.m., we can enjoy fireworks at Watson Lake. Hot dogs, yes. In 1776, Thomas Jefferson actually arrived late to attend the meetings of the Continental Congress in Philadelphia. He was only 33 years old and the youngest member of the Congress. Jefferson had not been part of the original Virginia delegation. He was sent as a substitute for another delegate who had returned to Virginia. The 11th of June, 1776, the other delegates appointed Jefferson to serve on a committee to draft a Declaration of Independence. The 4 other members of the committee asked him to write the first draft. Now, the goal of the Declaration of Independence was not to create a national holiday that would go on for hundreds of years, but it was to encourage the French government to provide aid to the American colonies. The colonial army was in desperate need of supplies from France. However, getting any major commitment from France was hard, while the colonies lacked any international legal standing. They were not a corporate body that could enter into a contract. In international law, they were still part of England and engaged in a civil war. Aiding them would be an entry into England's internal affairs. Before the colonies could make treaties with France, they had to become a treaty-making entity. Also, the colonists could not expect France to negotiate with 13 different treaties with each of the individual states in America. So the purpose of the Congress was to create one legal confederation with the power to make a treaty with France. 19 months after the creation of the Declaration of Independence, the French finally did enter the war on the side of the American rebels. The men who voted for the Declaration of Independence had no idea how important it would later become. Today, Americans celebrate it as a key document in the United States history. And this is primarily because of the preamble, the first words of the document. They are a theological statement. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, Thomas Jefferson did not invent these phrases. He took these words directly from the writings of the Scottish Enlightenment. The Scottish Enlightenment arose from a series of historic events, which started in 1450 when Gutenberg completed work on a printing system using metal movable type that made books easier to print and cheaper to own. In 1534, Martin Luther completed his translation of the Bible into German, and he encouraged all Protestants to learn to read so that they could have direct access to the Bible. Then in 1560, John Knox, the great reformer of the Scottish Church, determined to produce a Bible in English. A complete English language Bible was published. This was not the first, but it became the most popular. It was published in 1560, known as the Geneva Bible. It quickly became popular among Protestants. Knox called for a national system of education in Scotland so that everyone would learn to read and that everyone then could read the Bible. Well, it took a while for that to happen. 100 years later, in 1696, following John Knox's recommendation made 136 years before, the Scottish Parliament, controlled by the Presbyterians, voted to establish a school in every parish in Scotland so that everyone could learn to read and then be able to read Scripture, read the Bible. Because of this system of free education, Scotland became Europe's first modern literate society. In 1698, wealthy Scottish leaders decided that they needed their own colony in the New World. So they invested all the wealth of Scotland into an expedition to colonize Panama. The effort was a disaster. In less than 2 years, Scotland's economy had been completely devastated in its colonizing efforts. This played a leading role in convincing the Scottish elite to back a union with England, created in 1707, the United Kingdom of Great Britain, something that many Scots regret to this day. With trade tariffs with England now abolished, tobacco trade blossomed, especially with Virginia. Glasgow was the world's premier tobacco port, dominating world trade in a highly addictive drug of nicotine. Africans were turned into slaves and forced to provide their labor for free to create this drug. Meanwhile, because of John Knox and the Presbyterians, most Scottish people had learned to read. When they finished reading the Bible, some of them said, "So what else is there to read?" With universal literacy, writers wrote not just for a few intellectuals, but for everyone. A literary explosion occurred in Scotland. By the 1750s, virtually every town of any size in Scotland had a local lending library. In Edinburgh, the book trade became an important part of the local economy. There were 6 publishing houses in operation in Edinburgh by 1763. By 1790, there were 16 publishing houses operating in Edinburgh. Papermaking became a mainstay of the national economy. The Encyclopedia Britannica was first published in Edinburgh. Darwin's Origin of the Species was first published in Edinburgh. The flow of money from the tobacco trade, combined with nearly universal literacy, led to the funding of universities in Edinburgh, in Glasgow, and St. Andrews. The Scottish universities became international centers of learning and drew students from across Protestant Europe. The religious belief that everyone should read the Bible, combined with the wealth created by the sale of tobacco, led to the Scottish Enlightenment. At the University of Glasgow, a Presbyterian minister, Francis Hutcheson, became professor of theology. Hutcheson argued that beside our 5 senses of seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling, God created humans with a 6th sense. We are born, he said, with a sense that grasps nature's moral laws. We are born with a sense of morality. All human beings are born with this moral sense, he said. We are all born with a fundamental understanding of the nature of right and wrong. Hutcheson argued that our physical senses make us unequal. Some of us are blind. Some of us have hearing loss. Some of us have lost our ability to taste, and so on. Looking at our physical differences, we cannot say that all people are created equal. However, Hutcheson said these physical differences are not important. Our moral sense is our most important sense because it makes us all equals. And because all of us are born with a moral sense, we do not need a king or a queen to rule us. Using our moral sense, we can govern ourselves. This was his key idea. Because all of us are born with a moral sense, we do not need a king and a queen to rule us. Using our moral sense, we can govern ourselves. Now, Francis Hutcheson did not stop here. He said that the goal in our lives, the purpose of our lives, is happiness. He does not, however, mean by happiness physical pleasure. Hutcheson believed that by helping other people, we become happy. Our moral sense tells us that the goal of our life is to be happy, and that we become happy when we are kind, benevolent, caring towards other people. This positive view of human nature became one of the central ideas of the Scottish Enlightenment. Francis Hutcheson said, "We only find true happiness in helping others." And this provides the basis of all social organization, because we can only pursue happiness if we are free to help others. Therefore, he opposed restrictions on the freedom of women, arguing that human rights are universal and do not recognize any distinction based on gender. This is in the 1740s. He opposed slavery, arguing that the greatest cause of unhappiness in the world was slavery. He believed in maximizing personal liberty so that all of us would be free to pursue happiness by helping others. This Presbyterian minister, professor minister, was the first to say, "That action is best which accomplishes the greatest happiness for the greatest numbers." That action is best which accomplishes the greatest happiness for the greatest numbers. Francis Hutcheson died in 1746, but his ideas lived on in the works of other Scottish Enlightenment philosophers. In Edinburgh, David Hume substituted the word heart for Hutcheson's phrase moral sense. Hume argued that the head discerns facts and that our heart discerns right and wrong, and that therefore the heart is superior to the head. In Aberdeen, a man named Thomas Reid substituted the phrases common sense and self-evident truths for Francis Hutcheson's phrase moral sense. Reid argued that the basic moral perceptions of common people are equal and valid to those of philosophers and scientists. So the ordinary person's sense of right and wrong was equal to the sense of right and wrong that you would find in a philosopher or a great scientist. In the 1750s, the 1760s, the tobacco trade resulted in frequent contact between the citizens in Scotland and the citizens in Virginia. One who came from Scotland to Virginia in 1758 was a man named William Small. After college in Aberdeen, Scotland, William Small came to Williamsburg, Virginia at the age of 24, where he was appointed professor of natural philosophy at the College of William and Mary. Thomas Jefferson arrived as an undergraduate at the College of William and Mary in 1760. In his autobiography, Jefferson wrote, "It was my great fortune and what properly fixed the destinies of my life that Dr. William Small of Scotland was the professor of mathematics. Because of Dr. Small, Jefferson studied the ideas of Francis Hutcheson, Thomas Reid, and David Hume." So when Jefferson arrived in Philadelphia in May of 1776, he had been studying these Scottish Enlightenment philosophers for 16 years. And he wasn't alone. Out of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, 21 came from Scottish backgrounds. The most famous of these was John Witherspoon, president of Princeton University, who had moved from Scotland to Princeton in 1768. Witherspoon used the University of Edinburgh as a model for the design of classes at Princeton University. When Jefferson circulated his draft of the Declaration of Independence, many in the room found the phrases and sentences familiar. He wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident." Those in the room who were familiar with the works of Thomas Reed recognized the words self-evident as coming from Reed's writings. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Jefferson took this idea from Francis Hutcheson, who had argued that whether we are male or female, black or white, tall or short, God created everyone equal, with the same moral sense. To complete the sentence, Jefferson then referred to Hutcheson's belief that the purpose of our life is to pursue happiness by helping others, and to Hutcheson's belief that we can help others only if we are free, that is, only if we have liberty. So Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So Friday, we'll celebrate this statement about human nature that comes directly out of the thinking of the Scottish Enlightenment. However, 249 years later, do we still agree with Francis Hutcheson? Do we believe that we are all born with a sixth moral sense? Are we born knowing the difference between right and wrong? Well, these days, people conduct scientific research into this. The Yale Infant Cognitive Center is a particularly interesting one of these researches. It conducted a study into social functions, ethical judgments, as to whether babies are hardwired to make ethical judgments. The lab's initial study along these lines was published in 2007 in the journal Nature. It startled the scientific world by showing that in a series of simple morality plays, 6 and 10-month-old babies overwhelmingly preferred good guys to bad guys. This capacity may serve as the foundation for moral thought and action, the authors wrote. It may form an essential basis for more abstract concepts of right and wrong. So modern research supports the ideals expressed in the first words of the Declaration of Independence. We are all equal in the sense that most of us, at least, let's hope all of us, but at least some of us, are born with a sense of what is right and what is wrong. Now, do we agree with Hutcheson that the purpose of life is to pursue happiness by helping others? Well, Martin Seligman, in his book Authentic Happiness, argued that this is the case. He wrote as an example about how each student in his class on happiness undertook an assignment to engage in one pleasurable activity and one charitable activity and write about them both. It turned out that the afterglow of the pleasurable activity, such as hanging out with friends or watching a movie or eating a hot fudge sundae, pale in comparison with the acts of kindness. The students found that when their charitable acts were spontaneous and called upon their personal strengths, their whole day went better. One student talked about how her nephew asked for help with his third grade arithmetic. After an hour of tutoring, she was astonished to discover that for the rest of the day, she could listen better. Thank you. And people like her and people liked her much more than usual. A business student said that he came to the university to learn how to be happy by making a lot of money. But he was floored to find that he liked helping other people more than spending money shopping. Finally, do we agree with Hutcheson's moral imperative? Do we agree that action is best which accomplishes the greatest happiness for the greatest numbers? Well, in my imagination, I would like to take some of our political leaders to Scotland and teach them about the Scottish Enlightenment and how it influenced our founders. And in my imagination, I'd like to take them to the Edinburgh Hospital, where on several occasions I visited Scottish Unitarians. The hospital is run by the Scottish National Health Service. None of those persons I visited in the hospital were worried about paying for the cost of a stay in the hospital. I would talk to our political leaders about Reverend Hutcheson's moral imperative. That action is best, which accomplishes the greatest happiness for the greatest numbers. We can still learn from Scotland. So Friday evening, the people of the United States will celebrate the words of the Declaration of Independence. In Washington, the National Symphony Orchestra will play a concert outside in front of the Capitol. Around 9 p.m., they'll play Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. Tchaikovsky wrote the music to commemorate the unsuccessful French invasion into Russia. The overture starts with the French national anthem, representing the invading French army. It ends with the orchestra celebrating the French defeat by playing the anthem, God Save the Tsar, along with a climatic volley of real cannon fire, ringing chimes, and a brass fanfare finale. We Americans love to hear the overture on the 4th of July because we love that cannon fire. Our music is from Russia. Our fireworks are from China. And the ideas that we celebrate come from Scotland. So now at this time, I'd like to invite all the new members who have signed our membership book since our last new member welcome, which was what, a week ago or so?
You have a short memory.
To come forward and join me here up front, along with the vice president of our congregation, Ardell. There she is. Yeah, Rick has gone to Colorado for some reason. And Lydia from our membership committee. And bring a copy of your orders of service if you have one. Do we have extra orders of service? You can grab one from the table maybe. Okay. Now, Art wants your picture. Yeah. Wireless mic. Yeah, thank you. You know what Jesus' last words were at the Last Supper? Everybody who wants to be in the picture, get on this side of the table. All right. I don't know. What will you do without me when I leave? All right. I just want to go down the row here, and each of you say your name, please.
Jenny Jones.
Jenny Jones, welcome to the church.
Denise Richardson.
Denise Richardson, welcome to the church.
Sue Wyant.
Sue Wyant, welcome to our congregation.
Carol Miller.
Carol Miller, welcome to Granite Peak.
Barbara Taylor.
Barbara Taylor, welcome.
Helen Henderson.
Helen Henderson, welcome.
Deb Hens.
Deb Hens, welcome. Good to have all of you here. And I have a brief welcoming statement. To all of you, I say welcome. You will find that being a Unitarian Universalist is not always easy, for here you will be encouraged to trust your own authority, to compose your own personal theology, to govern your own congregation based on democracy, to work out your own system of ethics and morality, to develop your own religious language, to be firm against ridicule, criticism, and condemnation, and to labor with other independent people to sustain this religious community. It can be hard work. Nevertheless, I believe that you will find the rewards of membership here are very special. Here you can probe the meaning of human existence, to participate in a long tradition of religious liberalism, and to share joy and hope and beauty, and to know so many lovely men and women. As a congregational body, we pledge to you our continued support and caring as you grow in the direction dictated by your own best moral and intellectual sense. From you, we will receive the contributions that each of you, as special and unique people, has to offer. Now, Lydia, would you like to say a few words of welcome?
How about our Vice President?
Oh, how about our Vice President, Ardella?
You heard the beginning. I am the substitute for the guy who's riding llamas. My name's Ardella Moran, and in 2016, my husband and I moved to Panama City Beach. We had been unchurched since about 2002 when we were happy little empty nesters. But as we settled in, I found that I needed people, like-minded people, and I needed to find them. I needed to find people who were willing to do more than just lay on the beach. Don't get me wrong, it was beautiful, but I needed more. I looked around and I found this place called UU Fellowship of Bay County. I checked it out, and my daughter, I always go to her for opinions. She said to me, "Oh, Mom, you're gonna love it. That's a hippie church." Well, what is a hippie church? We're free thinkers, right? The rest is history, and I found my like-minded peeps. The UU is my respite in the storm, and I know you'll find it the same. As Vice President and a representative of the board of GPUU, I welcome you and can't wait to get to know each and every one of you. You'll find your niche here, whether it's helping to serve food, marching in a protest. I am a child of the 70s, you know. Or working in the rummage sale, or any one of many activities just to jump in, get to know us and our community. Welcome.
Thank you.
Lydia here again. I'm the chairman of the membership committee. We are trying to grow. Anybody want to come and help us? By all means, you're welcome. I'm an old-time Unitarian, clear back in the early 60s. I had to find something I was comfortable with teaching my children as I discovered these multitudes of different churches in this new country of mine, a US of A, coming from Europe. Anyway, I've been happy as a Unitarian. It certainly has given me a lot of satisfaction and many, many friends. And on behalf of the membership committee, yes, let's make more friends. reach out, particularly our new members today. There should be, let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8. I think there should be, oh yeah, one is out of town. So since early March, we added 9 new members. Let's welcome with a big thank you.
So I invite the congregation to say the words printed in the order of service. We, the members of Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation, welcome you to this religious community. We are a compassionate spiritual community that celebrates diversity, nourishes the personal and spiritual growth of all ages, shares our gifts, promotes justice for all, serves the world we live in. And I invite the new members to join in saying the affirmation printed in the order of service. These statements, both of them, the ones you just read and the ones we're about to read, are taken directly out of the church bylaws. We join this congregation as an affirmation of our willingness to support a religious community whose members are committed to creating a compassionate, liberal religious community that affirms freedom of belief, welcomes diversity, and nurtures individuals and families in personal and spiritual growth. And you may return to your seats and let's, wait, oh, we have goodies.
The membership committee has a small gift, a pin and a booklet. Oh, thank you.
This is the Pocket Guide to Unitarian Universalism, which means that someone has very large pockets. All right, can we now do the closing hymn?
Yes.
All right, you may return to your seats and we will stand as you're able. Number 287, Faith of the Larger Liberty. I invite you to join with me in saying the words as we extinguish our chalice.
Jenny?
Jenny will extinguish the chalice, and we will say together, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you all.
And now we have specially made desserts by members of the membership committee. Please come and enjoy. They're on the back table with coffee, and above all, community. Say hello to somebody you haven't said hello before. So, and have a good week.